hernia. In this condition, a part of an organ is a displacement or protrudes through the wall of the cavity. Especially this hernia is involving in the intestines at the weak point of the abdominal wall. Mostly our intestines is having the displacement here. Mostly small intestines, it is having the displacement, and which side is having the weak point of the abdominal wall? Our intestines is moving in that place. That is called as the hernia. Means there is a protrusion of the part of the organ into the another part is called as the hernia. Means there is a displacement or protrusion of the organ. Especially our intestines is moving into the weak point of the abdominal wall. That is called as the hernia. And causes of hernia. There is a combination of muscle weakness and overstrain, obesity persons, heavy lifting means overweight they are lifting, and persistent coughing and sneezing, strain during the bowel movement or urination means constipation, severe constipation, prematurity, family history, and developmental dysplasia of the hip, abnormality of the genitourinary system, cystic fibrosis, hereditary disorders caused by the production of the thick mucus leading to the blockage of the intestines. That is called as the cystic fibrosis. These are the main causes for the hernia. Types of hernia: inguinal hernia, hiatal hernia or esophageal hernia, femoral hernia, incisional or ventral hernia, umbilical hernia, and diaphragmatic hernia. These are the some sites for the hernia. Mostly in this hernia, our intestines are having the displacement. In this image, so many types of hernias are present here. This is the epigastric hernia, this is the inguinal hernia, and this is the femoral hernia and umbilical hernia. Coming to the inguinal hernia, in this inguinal hernia, there is a protrusion of the abdominal cavity contents into the inguinal canal. Especially this is the inguinal area. The intestines are moving down, coming down, and it is present in the inguinal canal. When the baby will cry, this hernia is showing like a bulging mass. When the baby will relax, okay, it will be disappear. But we can able to feel in the inguinal area there is a hernia is there. Inguinal hernia is present. Inguinal hernia means there is a protrusion of the abdominal cavity into the inguinal canal. And inguinal hernia is the bulging of the contents of the abdomen through a weak area in the lower abdominal wall. And inguinal hernias can occur at either of two passages through the lower abdominal wall, one of the each side of the groins. In some children, they are having only one side inguinal hernia, and some children both side inguinal canal, they are having the inguinal hernia. Inguinal hernia means there is a protrusion of the intestinal part into the inguinal canal. And when child has an inguinal hernia, you can usually see a bulging mass present in the groins or the scrotum, and the bulge will typically comes and go, and it may get bigger after your child is training or crying. After crying, it will be disappear. It may go away or get smaller during the night time while the baby is sleeping and getting relaxed. And this is the place for the inguinal hernia. This is the intestinal part. It is a manual correction of the inguinal hernia. With our hands, we have to push back the hernia inside. Coming to the umbilical hernia, this is also called as congenital and acquired. This is two types. And an umbilical hernia occurs when intestine, fat or fluids pushes through the weak spot of the belly. Means in the umbilical hernia, there is a presence of the intestines, fat cells, and also fluid also present in the umbilical hernia. Means the intestines is protruding into the umbilical cord. Umbilicus is called as the umbilical hernia. It is two types, congenital and acquired. In the congenital umbilical hernia, it appears only in the infancy, and acquired umbilical hernia, it appears intra-abdominal pressures, common seen in the obese persons, especially during the pregnant women. This is the structure of umbilical hernia. If the child is having, mostly you can see this umbilical hernia in the infancy age. 1 month to 1 year age, maybe these children's babies, they are having the umbilical hernia. And in this umbilical part, there is a protrusion of the intestinal contents inside. That's why the umbilical cord is bulging. This is the structure of the umbilical hernia. There is a presence of the fluid sac, and also here presence of the intestines. This is the intestine. In this image, it is there very clearly. This is the intestinal part. It is protruding or displaced into the umbilicus. Clinical features. If the child is having umbilical hernia, there we can able to identify there is a bulging or swelling appearance on the belly. Especially swelling may be noticeable when baby will cry. Hiatal hernia. In this hiatal hernia, a part of the stomach protrudes up diaphragm into the chest. Okay, there is a small means. Okay, here the diaphragm is separating the chest and the stomach cavity. In this picture, you can see this is the diaphragm, this is the stomach, and this is the esophagus. Especially, see with the from the place of the diaphragm, the small part of the stomach is going back into the chest cavity. That is called as the hiatal hernia. Actually, the stomach is present in the abdominal cavity, but in this condition, there is a protrusion or displacement of the abdominal contents, especially the stomach. It is moving back with the help of the opening of the diaphragm. This is the diaphragm. It is separating the two organs. That is called as the hiatal hernia. The small part of the stomach is moving back into the chest cavity. That is called as the hiatal hernia. Clinical manifestations for this hiatal hernia: pain areas, especially in the abdomen and the chest area, the baby is having pain, and gastrointestinal problems, heartburn, hiccups, nausea, regurgitation, and severe vomitings, and also common throat irritation. Femoral hernia: there is a protrusion through the femoral ring. This intestine is protruding into the femoral area. A plague of fats in the femoral canal enlarged and pull the peritoneum and often the urinary bladder, more frequently in the women's, especially in the obese pregnant women. And incisional hernia or ventral hernia. The incisional hernia is mostly happening in the site for the previous surgery place, resulting in a inadequate healing of the incisions. For example, the child or the person got previous surgery in the abdominal cavity. The wound is not healing properly. In that place, there is a protrusion or displacement of the intestinal contents will be there. That is called as the incisional hernia. Means it can occur at the site of the previous surgery part. Causes: postoperative wound infections, inadequate nutrition, and obesity. Diaphragmatic hernia. It is birth defects where there is a hole in the diaphragm. The large muscles that separates the chest from the abdomen. See in this picture, it is very clear here. This is the abdominal contents. This all abdominal contents is going back with the opening of the diaphragm, and directly this small intestine, large intestine, and all contents is moving back to the chest cavity, thoracic cavity. That is called as the diaphragmatic hernia. So in this picture, it is clear here. This is the normal structure of the GI system and respiratory system, thoracic cavity here. In this second picture, there is all intestinal contents moving back with the weak point of the diaphragm, and all total parts of this intestines are staying in the thoracic cavity, present in the thoracic cavity. While palpation and all, we cannot feel any abdominal contents inside of the baby stomach. All contents is moving back into the thoracic cavity. And clinical manifestations for the diaphragmatic hernia: difficulty breathing. Why? Because these all intestinal contents went back into the thoracic cavity. And tachypnea, cyanosis, tachycardia, and empty stomach. And large hernia may be noticeable and cause some discomfort, pain, tenderness, bulging, nausea and vomitings, and constipation. Coming to the diagnosis: physical examination, history collection. Healthcare providers may ask the patient to stand and cough, and you can able to assess while coughing what is the bulging position and where the bulging mass is present, which part, either it is diaphragmatic hernia, inguinal hernia, femoral hernia, or umbilical hernia, you have to identify. That's why tell them to cuff. And a bulge caused by the hernia as it move into the groins or scrotum. The healthcare provider may gently try to massage the hernia back into the abdominal canal with the hands. Palpation of the bulge area, standing and lying positions. Identify the type of hernia, ultrasonography, X-ray of abdomen, MRI, blood test, chest X-ray. Management, antibiotic therapy, example, cefuxime, ampicillin. And also we have to provide the H2 receptor blockers, famotidine, ranitidine, and ensoprazole, and osmeprazole, omeprazole, pantoprazole also we have to give for the hiatal hernia patient. Coming to the surgical management, you have to repair this part with the using of surgery is herniorrhaphy. The surgery name for the hernia is herniorrhaphy, and laparoscopic treatment you have to use. And coming to the umbilical hernia treatment, the repair takes about an hour. It's usually an outpatient procedure. After procedure, the child can go to home very easily up to evening. And in this condition, the child can go to the home immediately after. Okay, premature infants and children who have other medical conditions may need to spend a night, and early morning they can discharge. And child will receive general anesthesia for this repairing. This medication relaxes their muscles and they will not get any pain during surgery. And the surgeon will make small incision in the bottom of the belly button and find the hernia sac containing the bulging intestines and push the intestines back into the right place behind the muscle wall and remove the remaining hernia sac. Reinforce the muscle wall with the stitches to prevent another hernia. Post-operative care for this, use pain medications. Your provider may give to the prescribed medications, and many parents find that their child only needs a few doses of this pain medications. And try to give sponge bath for them to relieve the pain after surgery. And restrict the certain activities like gyms, jumping, okay, hard walking and all, and bike riding, tricycle riding and all. And they have to avoid some activities like sports, indoor and outdoor games also they have to avoid few days. After that they can go for daily activities. And help to prevent the constipation. After this repair, especially all type of repairs, umbilical hernia and all, you have to restrict their activities, and also you have to prevent from the constipation. Why? Because during constipation also maybe they will give straining to the intestines again. That's why maybe again there is a chance in another place or same place also there is a protrusion and again hernia will start. Okay, that's why don't give any straining. You have to provide these two softeners for free defecation and all. They have to drink plenty of fluids, and they have to take vegetables, fruits and high fiber rich diet. And child will be back to their regular activities within a few days. Some children may take up to 2 weeks to recover if they had a larger or more complex hernia. And surgical repair of inguinal hernia. Surgery is needed to fix the inguinal hernia. Once a hernia is noticed, doctor will refer the child to see a pediatric surgeon. And urologist also need for this surgery, and they have to plan for surgery. The best method for this inguinal hernia is laparoscopic surgery. Post-operative care of inguinal hernia surgery. Most children can eat a regular diet after surgery. Recovery time depends on the child. Most of the child can go back to normal non-strenuous activities in about 1 to 2 weeks. Means after 1 to 2 weeks, they will start their daily activities. And they have to avoid bathing for 2 to 3 days after the surgery. And surgical repair of the diaphragmatic hernia. For this diaphragmatic hernia, if there is normal symptoms is there, you have to plan for the surgery. And if the severe symptoms is there, that also you have to plan immediately. You have to plan for the surgery. And most of the hernias repaired by open surgery and laparoscopy surgery. Nursing diagnosis. Acute pain related to surgical repair secondary to hernia as evidenced by irritability. Risk for injury related to intestinal obstruction, secondary to hernia. Knowledge deficit related to lack of information about post-operative care, secondary to hernia as evidenced by requesting detail about allowed daily activities. Risk for injury related to intestinal obstruction, secondary to hernia. Risk for fluid volume deficit related to post-operative status, secondary to hernia.